John Marc Perez, and I'm here to perform assessing the head and the face of the patient. So first, I need to assemble all my equipment, which are stethoscope, pen light, gloves, and a glass of water. So first, I need to read the patient chart to have a baseline data. Second, I need to perform hand hygiene to avoid cross-contamination. And next, good morning, sir. Are you Marc Perez?
Yes, I am.
Sir Marc, good morning. I am John Marc Perez, your student nurse for today from Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Marikina. I'm here to inspect or assess your head and face to know if there is any abnormalities or is there any lesion in your face. Is that okay?
Okay.
So next, I need to provide privacy for the client. Close the door, close the curtain. And next, I need to assess the environment for the patient. And now, we're going to assess the head and the face of the patient. So first, we need to inspect the head of the patient. We need to inspect the size of the head of the patient. So the size of the head of the patient should be proportionally to his body. So as we can see, the head of my patient is proportionally to his body. Next, the shape of the head of the patient. So, next, the symmetry of the head of the patient. And now, we're going to inspect the face of the patient. First, we're going to inspect the symmetry of the patient. So we are inspecting, is there any drooping that may indicate Bell's palsy and stroke? So as we can see, there is no any drooping in his face. And now we're going to check the features of patient's face, which is eyebrows, mustache, beard, if the patient have beard. And next is the sideburn, or what we call patilla. So we are going to inspecting the distribution of the hair of the patient in the eyebrows. So as we can see, it's evenly distributed. And the sideburn. So, okay. And the mustache. And now we're going to inspect the facial expression of the patient. If the patient have a fully control in her face. Sir, can you close tightly your eyes. Open. Smile. Show your teeth, sir. Okay, puff your cheeks, sir. Okay, sad face, sir. Okay. So, we need to assess if the patient have a fully control to his face. Next, I'm going to palpate the face or head of the patient. First, I need to wear gloves because I'm going to touch the patient. So that, first I need to palpate the size of the head of the patient. Next, I need to palpate for the shape of the head of the patient. Next, the symmetry, if there is any symmetry. Next, I need to inspect if the head of the patient have masses or lumps. The tenderness of the head. So next, we need to, so there is no lump or masses in the head of the patient. Next, we can look if there is infestation of lice, in in his head. So there is no any lice in his head. Next, I need to check the uh, temporal artery of the patient. Check for the tenderness, elasticity of the temporal artery of the patient. So this is the temporal artery of the patient. Tenderness. If there is any swelling, so if there is no any swelling in the temporal artery of the patient, tenderness, elasticity. Next is the temporomandibular joint of the patient, which is here in the side of his mouth. So first we need to perform range of motion. Sir, can you open your mouth? Close your mouth. And I will place my mouth so the patient can resist my hand. Sir, okay, close. Okay. So if we can, so to know or to assess if the patient have a fully control in his temporomandibular joint, next we need to hold to palpate if there is any swelling, the tenderness, and the elasticity. So next, we're going to put, so we are inspecting if there is any clicking sensation in the temporomandibular joint of the patient. Sir, open your mouth. Close your mouth, sir. Open again. Close. Open. Close. So there is absent. So there is no clicking sensation in the temporomandibular joint of the patient. Now we're going to ask if the patient have any history of headache. Sir, do you have any history of headache sometimes?
Yes.
How often, sir?
Sometimes.
So, like once a month, twice a month,
Twice.
a month.
Yes.
So that's all. After that, we need to document all that data, and we can tell if there is any abnormality. Tell to the client if there is the findings or if there is any abnormalities, and document the data. And that's all. Thank you, ma'am.